You're listening to Online Pet Health Podcasts with Dr. Megan Kelly. Continuing education for veterinarian rehabilitation therapists. Learn more at onlinepethealth.com.
Hey Vet Rehabbers, this week I speak to the winner of the IAVRPT Vet Rehab Therapist of the Year 2021, and it's Carrie Adrian from VCA in the United States. Now, Online Pet Health members, you will be familiar with Carrie as one of our long-time lecturers on the small animal platform. Two of my favorites are the movement dysfunction, strength versus motor control, and then the series, What Does It Mean? She looked at hind limb lameness, postural changes, gait changes, and back pain. It's definitely worth a listen. You can find it in our library of 165 hours now of small animal webinar recordings. Now, these are just a few of her webinars. If you want to look for more from Carrie, click the search bar on the membership and you'll be able to see a long list of trainings that Carrie has done for us. Before we head over to the podcast, I just want to say a quick thank you to Amy Hesback of Empower Physio Pet Pointers for the shout out about the Veterinary Rehabilitation podcast on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go check out Amy's page. She is sharing daily vet rehab tips. It's definitely worth a follow. Amy, if you're listening, please email me on meg@onlinepethealth.com for your limited edition veterinary rehabilitation mug. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, why not take a screenshot, post a story, and tag @onlinepethealth and let us know that you're listening. We love hearing from you. So over to my chat with Carrie. Hey, Carrie, thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Morning, Megs. Great to be back with you.
Oh, it's awesome to have you on the podcast again. So I'm so excited because last year, when I found out that you had won the IAVRPT award, I actually had tears running down my face. I was so proud of you. Yeah, it's such a massive thing. So we're going to chat about the award. But first of all, I think for the listeners, I mean, I obviously know you. We met in 2008. But there's some people that maybe haven't heard of you if they are not Online Pet Health members. If you're Online Pet Health members, you would have seen loads of lectures from Carrie. So won't you tell the listeners how you got into rehab and a little bit about yourself?
Oh, goodness, Megs, it seems like so long ago. And back in 1999, when I finished physical therapy school, I found a flyer. Actually, a good girlfriend of mine who has since passed of cancer showed me a flyer. She was my best friend in physical therapy school, and she showed me a flyer about the very first International Association of Veterinary Rehab and Physical Therapy conference, and it was at Corvallis, Oregon, just south of Portland in the U.S. And she says, "Hey, have you seen this?" She knew I loved animals. She knew I wasn't real happy working with people in physical therapy school. Can I say that? And she showed me this flyer, and I graduated in May. I took my boards in June, and in August, I flew as a poor little student out to Corvallis, put everything on credit cards because, I just graduated, didn't have a job, and went up the West Coast into Canada and toured around a little bit, came back, helped with registration to help alleviate some of the cost with the conference, met Dr. Bob Taylor, who, let's see, so that would have been 6 months later, ended up hiring me to move to Denver, to Colorado, to work in his practice and build a physical therapy program. And, like they say, the rest is history. I got darn lucky and honestly haven't looked back since. It's been amazing.
Yeah, so where are you now? So to fast track to all those years and let us know sort of where you're working and how many days a week you work, a little about your rehab work.
Yeah, so I worked and started in Denver at Alameda East Veterinary Hospital. That, again, was back in February of 2000. So it's been literally 22 years. Had an opportunity to go back to graduate school to pursue a PhD in dog walking, I like to say, in canine biomechanics, and moved up north. So from Denver, we are up here in Loveland, Colorado, just about an hour north of Denver, and about 45 minutes south of the vet school here in Fort Collins at Colorado State University. So I was with first year veterinarians, doing some radiology, surgery courses. It was great. It was just a really neat program that we frankly kind of made up. It was the first degree of its kind in the country. And, Dr. Taylor came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do this program?" And I'm like, "Nope, I don't want to go back to school." ears down, tail tucked, and went back in his office. I'm like, I can't pass this up. This is, incredible opportunity. I'm so grateful that I did it. And that was back in 2007. I started that program, graduated in 2011. And just prior to that, we were sold to, so Alameda East was sold to VCA Animal Hospitals. And at that point, I was in school and I presented a proposal to our chief medical officer to say, hey, would you take me on board when I graduate as the director of rehabilitation services? So I've been in that role since 2011, doing some really fun, wonderful things with VCA. We have over 1,000 hospitals nationwide. Smaller percentage of those are doing rehab in some form or fashion. And that's been a really fun challenge. I'm in the clinic 2 days a week. So I'm still treating dogs 2 days, and then I do the corporate stuff the other 3 days a week. It's a really great mix of everything, really.
So over all those years, what has been the most challenging part of your career?
Oh, loaded question, right? I kind of joke because that winning that award, which I'm so incredibly humbled and grateful, but it kind of made me look back and say, wow, you've been doing this, 22 years. Makes you look back and think about your career, and some of it's a little surreal. Like you look at your CV and I'm like, was that me? Gosh, that was so long ago. And so the reality of it was a bit of a reality check in that sense. But, I think, oh man, there's so much. All the patients that I've touched along the way, those are first and foremost and who have taught me so much. The staff, the veterinarians, the technicians, the other PTs that I've worked with over the years, and still 22 years into this, I'm still learning from everybody. And that's the beauty, I think, of this profession is really just the continued collaboration and learning and understanding of one another. And there's bumps in the road. There's things we've got to all work through. I think we all see that. But I'm just, oh gosh, Megs, it's gonna make me cry. But I just, all of the things, the opportunities to meet all of you, like, had I not walked into that conference, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. Just the friends that I have made over the last 22 years, the colleagues that I have made that we're still in touch with. I'm really proud of that. I love that connection, international connection to friends, colleagues that, have developed over the years. And, I'm meeting Tony, hey, Tony, in 1999, Tony in Spain and Stefano in Italy is now in the UK. And we're still friends. We still exchange Christmas cards. And that's the kind of stuff that has really stayed with me over the years. Yeah, doing the PhD, I'm really proud of that. That was a neat process, and I'd probably never do that again, but it was great going through it. But it's really the colleagues and the friends that I've made along the way, and watching this whole profession grow over the years. I was 22 years ago, there was no other PT in private practice doing animal physical therapy, and it was scary, and it was daunting, and it was intimidating, and there's still days, I certainly don't profess to know everything. There's still some things like, maybe I should know that, or, maybe now I'm going to be 50. I'm going to go look it up. I can't remember anymore. And to be able to rely on friends and colleagues and to, hash things out with. And those are really the best memories over the years.
Yeah. I think it's amazing, like you say, the change in this profession.
Yeah.
2000 to 2022. I've been in it since 2005. Yeah. And the change from then to now is just unbelievable. A lot of you guys were, in it from the 1990s already. Yeah. And it is amazing. So, one of the things I love to hear is that you've learned from people along the way. Is there any person that really stands out as your most sort of influential mentor that you've had in your
Bob
career?
Taylor, hands down, Bob Taylor. He's like, my dad. I look at him as my second dad, and he really, this scared little new grad who, I've worked in and out of hospitals, since I was young. I've always loved animals and, volunteered. Everybody starts out scoop and poop, right? We were the grunts. And so I had some foundation and some background in veterinary hospitals, but to walk into this large specialty emergency general practice and build and develop and grow a physical therapy department, he was the one who believed in me, and he took this. I recall our interview process. I'm this lowlander from Western Pennsylvania, and he brings me out for an interview, and I stay with he and his family, and he had a younger daughter. And Marissa and I still joke that blue eyeshadow was still in back then. And I was going to go out with some of the vets from Alameda that night. And she's offering me this blue eyeshadow. I'm like, I think I'm probably good. We still joke about that to this day. It's just hilarious. But he took me in, we did this long bike ride. We're over a mile high. They don't call Denver the mile high city for nothing. And, here I am trying to keep up with Dr. Taylor riding a bike as we're just doing this interview process. I still kind of curse him to this day and sucking air and it was great fun. But he, hands down has been my number one supporter and his belief in me from day one. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, so I actually posted a picture on my Instagram. Do you know that rehab book, that textbook, the very first one that came out? So it was the one actually with David Levine and Daryl Millis. And it's got like a sort of bluey type of cover. I think that one there that you've got is second edition. So
this is the newer edition.
Yeah. So there's a first edition, and I found mine the other day. Yeah. And I posted a picture of it, and I was like, who's got this book? So it'll tell us like who is of that age, that has been in the field for so long. So many people replied, and somebody actually said, I've got one, and Bob Taylor autographed it.
Oh, that's so awesome. I know I have mine somewhere. It's in amongst the mess in my office now, but yeah, it's to have all those guys. And I have this Care of the Racing Greyhound from way back when, all these old books and even the proceedings from the very first international symposium. Wow. And I've saved name tags. I don't know, maybe I'm a hoarder. I don't know, but I've saved my name tags. They're all downstairs in this filing cabinet, from all the conferences over the years, and come up on these things on occasion, when I'm cleaning out the closet sort of thing. And it's just the nostalgia. It just continues to make you smile. It's just to see where we were and where we've come is pretty phenomenal in this field, and to watch it just grow and explode, which also is a testament to how much we're needed and how much the animals need us too. It's great.
For sure. So obviously this next IAVRPT conference, you got to be there because you're going to be getting your award, right?
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So yeah, COVID depending, but I feel like that's past us now. I feel like it's going to happen. I can't see COVID causing another problem. So I think they are thinking about doing a hybrid conference. So so I think that some people, although my gut feeling is I think everyone should be able to go. I mean, even Australia is opened up now. So, so I'm sure that most people will be able to go. But I do think the hybrid option is quite nice, especially for those people that maybe can't travel because they can't get a locum or someone to cover their practice. So it will open up. But yeah, I'm intending to be there. So looking forward to seeing
Megs, I'm right behind you. I could not be more excited to get out. And did I mention I'm turning 50? So I'm looking for every excuse in the book to travel again. Been scratching at the walls a little bit and just to see everybody. I mean, this is great. Zoom is great. Teams is great. Being able to still see people via computer is wonderful. There is nothing like being together, face to face. Maybe I'm old school, right? But I can't get used to this. We just wouldn't have been able to manage the last 2 years without it. But for me, there's nothing better than the face-to-face and having the stories and the memories that we make at these conferences. So I am going to be there with bells on, knock on wood, I shouldn't say that, right? But hopefully, I feel like we're all emerging and everybody's, really ready to be together again. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be having a few drinks to celebrate your 50th.
It's coffee and drinks. We'll just pass the baton from coffee down to wine. Okay, that's a deal.
Sounds good.
Love it.
So, I mean, without a doubt, we obviously know that you have that never stop learning attitude. Can you share with the listeners how you continually strive to improve and learn and improve your knowledge?
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's just part of that is just a natural inquisition. I'm kind of a curious person to begin with. The thing that really fuels me, I think, is the patients that I treat in the clinic, and to still be in the clinic 22 years later, you see a few things, right? And you start to form these questions in your head that, hey, I've seen, I don't know, 100 dogs that after TPLO that have this, or hey, what about these biceps dogs that we're starting to identify now? And just coming up with these questions in the back of your head and trying to figure out, is this really true or not? And that's where, hey, let's look at the current research and let's see what's out there. That's what fuels my fire. To be able to tell clients I don't know is hard for me. And we do that probably every day that we're in the clinic, right? We just, there's not a lot of info on canine physical therapy and rehab yet, but, and clinical experience doesn't count for a whole hoot of a lot, but it forms those questions. And I think that's where I like to start pulling stuff together. And what's interesting for me is the comparison with human, to animal. And frankly, that's where human physical therapy got started, was a lot of the basic science on animals that they did over 100 years ago. So to continue to stay abreast on all of that information and still try to apply it, because we have no data on dogs, or very minimal data on dogs, we have to be able to pull from our human, colleagues. That's how this whole profession got started. Really, we take what we know from a human realm and we apply it and we modify it and we adjust accordingly, based on pathology, based on biomechanics, whatever it may be, and we move forward from there. So it's a constant. You should see my office. My husband hates walking in here, but it's a disaster. I have piles. I'm very organized piler. So I have all the stuff that I need to read, and here's going for this paper. And to work with, I have a folder of several folks who have contacted me. Hey, would you look at my research project and give me some feedback on it? It's just so exciting to me, and try to help, where we can, and to continue to pull cases together. And, I have 14,283 pictures on my phone, right? Then someday I'm going to get that organized. But, to have the forethought or the foresight to say, hey, this would be a really cool case, get a picture of this. That's what's on my phone right now. Someday, maybe when I retire, I'll be able to pull that together. But just to look at that and say, hey, I've never seen that before, or the clinical aspect of it and the inquisitive mind, I think, all tends to come together to continue to investigate research and research articles and to see what's out there and to work with others to try to, answer some of these questions, and working with, VCA to help others. What is it that you need? How can I help you get better? And that's really my role with them, and to be able to share that knowledge, I think is also part of my role and duty of being in this field for so long. That's part of what we want to do, is to pass it down and continue to improve it.
Yeah, what I love that you said earlier is, you still see cases and sometimes you think, well, maybe I should know that, and I think that's the thing, is that a lot of us, when we first qualify, we think that there's going to be a time where we're going to be so comfortable and we're going to know, we're going to know everything. And that time just never comes, does it? As soon as you think you know everything about a specific topic, then something just comes and you're like, oh, I actually don't. and you just got to accept that. Like, it's okay.
And it's
It's okay
okay.
not to know everything. And you
Yes.
just,
Yes.
as long as you keep striving to learn and
Yes.
never stop learning, just keep learning and, finding ways in which to learn from other people or from other research or whatever. You just got to keep learning. That's it.
That's right. And we talk, I talk to people, I talk to clients all day. It's not like I'm sitting in an academic environment and sharing, the Latin names for all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's the one big piece of advice that I have learned over the last 22 years is, again, walking in as a scared new physical therapist. I wasn't just stepping into animal physical therapy. I was stepping in as a physical therapist. I was a very, very new grad who didn't, you come out of school, you don't know squat about your profession, right? And I think we've all felt that. So it was kind of a double whammy for me. And that's one piece of advice to pass on is, you feel so inadequate back then. And now it's kind of like, if I don't know that, let's go look it up. You can't know everything, and that's okay. And that's my one big piece of advice that I have learned over the years, that I've learned to let go, that it's okay to ask a stupid question. But I guarantee when you ask that question, there's 10 others around you that don't know it either. And that's the part where I think we as a society, whatever it is that, makes us feel that way, we need to get over and just ask the question is all I can say.
Good advice. So what is Carrie's plans for the rest of the year?
Oh my goodness. I mentioned I'm turning 50, right, Megs? I am ready to get out. I am scratching at the walls. I've got, the kids are getting older. My boys are getting older, and I would love to drag them around. And I think there's no better education than, to see the world. And, at some point, I hope I have an opportunity to do that, but maybe in little pieces, so I'm ready to chomping at the bit to get out, see you guys, be together with friends and family again, as I'm sure everybody is. So I've got a lot of travel on the agenda, and I was just talking to a girlfriend yesterday. She's like, Carrie, you're all over the map. I'm like, yep, and I don't have one thing planned yet, but I want to go here, and I want to go there, and I want to do this, and oh my goodness. So aside from, hopefully we get to do a little traveling this year, we've got some really great initiatives that we're planning for VCA and all of our VCA rehab hospitals this year, and that's keeping me busy. So, between kids and work, it's I literally am living the dream. I know people use that as a phrase, but every day I thank God for my job. I thank God for my family, and I'm going to continue to enjoy that.
Awesome. Talking about that traveling, we must still chat about that camper vanning holiday if you're still keen around Europe.
It's on my agenda. Maybe we'll have the basement ready for you by then, but ready for you guys to come visit. Chomping at the bit to get family together and friends. And yes, I'm ready when you are, Megs. Come on. That goes for everybody. I'm just looking forward to being together again.
Just in person.
In person, yes. Yep.
So, Carrie, on behalf of the vet rehab community, we just want to congratulate you once again for that amazing achievement. Obviously there were lots of people there that could have won it, but I was very, very happy to see that you were the winner of that award, and I'm looking forward to seeing you actually get your physical award at this year's IAVRPT Conference. So congratulations once again. Very proud of you.
Thank you. Amazing group to be part of, and very, very grateful to all of you. Thanks.
Thank you for your time, and I look forward to that coffee and wine in
You
August.
got it. Anytime, Megs. Yeah. Hey, you guys take care out there, and we'll see you in August. Thanks all.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. And please, if you get a moment, head over to Stitcher or iTunes and leave me a review. It's a really lonely job being a podcaster, and so the only time I get to hear from you or know that you're out there is when I get a review. And know that I read every single one of your reviews. So to those of you that have left reviews, I want to say a very, very big thank you. Every time we get a review, it really helps to get the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast out there to all the vet rehabbers all over the world. All right, vet rehabbers. So if you are looking for more continuing education in the field of veterinary rehabilitation, head over to onlinepethealth.com. Go be awesome, guys.